Oh
Well,
god,
we
I gotta
don't.
still mess with my streaming crap too. Oh, this
Yeah,
is gonna
good luck with
fucking
Yeah.
suck.
That's
Yep.
the worst, where it's just like, I had it set up so perfectly, and now it's all just a little bit off.
I took pictures of my OBS settings.
Nice.
So,
Yep.
because I just started getting that to work properly before all of this started taking a shit on me.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder what we should blame.
No, not that.
Solar rays?
Yes.
No, this is an ongoing. It's not a very common issue, but it's been an ongoing Windows issue since 10 came out.
Mm.
Mhm.
Between that and printers not working properly.
Oh my god. I hate
Yeah,
printers
yeah,
so much.
Boston knows.
The only printer I have ever run into that I come close to dealing with is the printer I have over here. It's like a Brother LaserJet printer.
Mm.
It doesn't like to stay on the network and you can only print to it wirelessly when you reboot it, and then after like a day it will just forget how to be on the network.
Yeah.
And that is greatly preferable to any other printer that has ever been manufactured by human hands. They are all the worst. They are all spawns of Satan.
I want to say the Canon that I have, I bought for my wife like years ago, and for the longest time I could not get Windows to recognize it when it switched to 10.
Yeah.
And it's just been working fine the last several years now. But like at work, even they use primarily HP printers, and all like I think it was last month there was like a week where all of a sudden nothing would fucking connect to a printer, no matter what
Yep.
installation or facility it was. It was like
for
nothing would
literally
work.
no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the plotter, the oldest effing printer that we had there, still running like a champ.
It's about 50 years old and it uses like a
Yeah.
SCSI connector, and you're like, it's
it
doing
does.
great.
I'm sorry, I just loaded up Twitter to retweet the "We Are Going Live" thing.
Yeah,
And the
that's
first
really
tweet that I see is my wife's tweet saying the amount of people at work today who knew that Growlithe needed the Firestone to evolve was literally everyone but me.
Jess can feel better because I saw her post that on Twitter, and I was like, I wonder why he's not evolving. And like the very first response was like, oh well, he needs to hold this item so he can evolve, and it's like, why? Why?
I heard someone say to have some Pokemon evolve, you have to walk a certain amount of steps in game or something like that.
Why?
They have completely redone the evolution things in that.
Oh,
Like
okay.
there is a whole bunch of really. I don't know if this is just conjecture.
Sure.
I don't know if this is hashtag fake rumors.
Hashtag fake news.
Yes, there are like so many more ways to evolve now. Like apparently there is a glass of milk Pokemon.
Okay.
And to make it evolve, like you've probably seen the gifs of it already, but if you spin your character around in circles, he does a little spinny motion,
Yeah.
and then stops and does the Saturday Night Fever pose.
Yep.
To make him evolve, you have to do that a whole bunch, and then when he evolves into like a whipped cream Pokemon.
Shit, that's really good.
Well, I'll say, and some of the stuff that I've been hearing seems fine.
Yeah, like
'cause at least they're trying something different instead of just you hit level 35 and now it's evolved into whatever.
yeah, like Farfetch to evolve into Surfetch, you have to hit 3 critical hits in one battle. It's like, okay, that's not crazy.
Yeah.
No,
I
Like,
mean,
it's
it might suck depending on what your luck is at, but
Yeah, like it's a little bit difficult, but it's not anything like on the 3rd day of the 3rd month under the light of a full moon. Hello
Yeah,
there,
that was-
Base Boy 311.
dude, that's Baz. Base has got 2 S's. Come on.
Hey, I don't know. If it was
all.
Boz, then maybe it would be AZ. Tell us in chat how to pronounce your name.
Have you ever heard of a certain MMA fighter called Baz Rutten?
no.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a BAS.
Okay.
And come on, dude.
Sorry,
Get your shit together.
I come from the state, the same state that The Miz comes from. So our hometown hero, the monster.
Oh,
The
shit.
Miz.
No, I just realized you are 100% correct because sitting here with my wrestling fucking bullshit, I was like, you're in California? The Miz bills himself as from Hollywood, California, but no, he's secretly from Ohio. Oh, shit, that's where
He's
you're from.
like Akron. I remember him from when he was on The Real World.
So technically you're from both of the Miz's states right now?
Heaven help us.
So Boston and the Miz, best buddies for life?
Fucking no. Jesus.
Like that.
Yeah.
The worst thing is, from everything I hear, he's actually not a bad dude. He's actually really good.
That's surprising.
He's just a shithead in wrestling, which is the best character for him.
Yeah.
Like, he pulls that off so well because he's got a face you just want to fucking punch.
He does. Okay, are you guys ready to get started?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How about now?
Maybe.
I taught my
There you
kid
go.
that by accident.
How
I
about
made
now?
a huge mistake. Because I was teasing her. She's like, she doesn't want to come. Lately, her big thing is, I don't want to go eat lunch. Like, I would rather just snack throughout the entire day, which, of course,
So she's
Not
a
gonna work
child
for
or
me.
a human.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my big thing lately has been like, are you ready for lunch? She'd be like, no, maybe later. And like 2 seconds later, I'll say, all right, how about now? She has now turned that against me. And like, hey, do you want to play with trains right now? And I'm like, not right now. And she goes, okay, but how about now? And I was like, damn it.
It's been weaponized.
Yeah, like I just.
That's the messed up thing too. You think that you have patience as an adult,
Yeah.
and then you come across a kid who doesn't understand the concept of patience and is just wanting whatever they want right then and there.
Yeah, my favorite thing is she's never walking. She's always running everywhere. So, like, me trying to get my old broken body out of my recliner, which is very comfortable, when she wants to go do something, it's like, I need, like, it takes me more than literally 0.5 seconds to stand up, and she's, like, over there, like, come on, come on, come on, come on. She's like, hold the fucking phone, come on.
I can't remember if it was, I think it might have been Eddie Izzard who said, you know you're getting old when the very first time you get up out of a chair and you just go, and it's like, that's when you're old. The first time you do that, you're old.
I knew I was middle-aged, like full-on middle-aged, when I was sitting in the airplane coming back out here to California from our vacation, dreaming about putting my ass in my recliner. I was just like, yeah, it's so comfortable.
That's not old. That's just airplanes, man.
Click the,
Yes.
yeah, kick
Anywhere
the
is
legs
better
up.
than airplanes.
Yeah.
I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
All right.
So airplanes are not
Yeah.
built for airplanes are
Yep.
built for me. I'm like 5'9". I can squeeze in there.
Yeah, on our trip to Disney World, I told my wife I have to have an aisle seat.
Yeah, like where else are you gonna go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 6'2" and I have disproportionately long legs and arms. So like my butt is fine and my body is fine and the headrest is fine, but my legs and fucking arms are just like I'm like Octodad, like trying to sit down.
Where
it's
did
just
I
like,
put these?
It's impossible.
Dude, I had to get crammed into the Avatar ride because my legs were so long. They had to shove the safety restraints on my legs, and then my legs cramped up halfway through the freaking ride.
Yep.
Right. And you had to be on an Avatar ride, like nobody was winning.
The ride wasn't so bad.
Oh,
but,
that's good.
man.
Okay. You guys ready to start?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer
Hello.
and the Nymph.
I made it.
We did it. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. $5 a month is the recommended tier. You get all the cool stuff, including a brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks coming out this Friday, the last Friday of every month.
I was
This
very curious
Friday is
if you
the
were going to
last one.
remember.
Yeah, I got you.
And it's
For
the
once.
Thanksgiving episode, which means it's a Disney movie.
There you go. Yeah, I spot checked this episode, but I didn't listen to it, even though this is one of my favorite Disney movies. It's a good one.
Was it you I recommended listen to the first couple of, like the first part of the first half to listen to?
Yeah, and then like I was editing like 6 other episodes last week, so it's like I'll get back to this. I did.
There is a very interesting rant in the first half about just how much I annoy my wife.
Okay.
So if you want to hear my wife, quote unquote, go off on one, rightfully so at me.
Air grievances.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well check out that patreon.com/E1M1. Let's talk about what you've been playing this past week, Mr. Moonpeer.
Okay, we're going to start with the weeklies, we'll say.
Uh-huh.
Apex Legends, still playing that. Game is still good. Had an update recently. And I want to throw some heavy objects at the crew over at EA and tell them to stop interfering, please, with your developers.
What happened now?
So Apex has 3 dailies, like that you can do to get experience, which helps level you up for the season pass, so on and so forth. Those dailies were locked. For like, these are your 3 dailies for today. Do them or don't do them, whatever. You can refresh the dailies now.
Oh, okay.
But it costs currency to do so.
Okay. Interesting.
Not the crafting materials currency, not the pay for it with real money currency, but the middle currency, which is incredibly hard to get hold of.
Right.
And it's the same currency that you can use to buy heroes with.
Okay. Interesting.
You don't even get one for free.
Okay.
The rule for daily refreshes has always been, and it's never been stated out loud as being this rule because it's generally understood.
Right.
If you have dailies in a game, once per day for one of those dailies, you can re-roll it for free. This is a character you don't like. This is something you don't want to do. This is something you don't have available.
Or like
hit the
10
recycle
dust. Like almost no of the crafting currency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the rules.
Right.
Why are you going to make me use the semi-premium currency to do so?
I'm really happy that it's not the pay real money currency, because that would feel really dirty. But
if it was that currency, I would be having much stronger words to say.
Yeah, but it being the really rare currency feels, even if it's like 10, that's still not, that doesn't feel good.
10 would be fine. It's like 200.
So, how do you get any of that currency?
Play and level up. And
Okay.
every X amount of levels, you'll get an amount of that currency. But I have put a lot of hours into Apex Legends, and I have only just unlocked my final hero.
Okay.
With that currency. So I didn't pay for any of the heroes. I used that currency to unlock them, and I have only recently had enough to do so, and that includes the 2 season passes worth of bonus, like, of that currency that I got for the 2 season passes too. So go to hell. Thank you very much. One refresh is free. One refresh is always free. Them's the rules.
What's really interesting is, taking it from the other standpoint for Destiny 2, they introduced, so you can go to a vendor and they'll have like their 5 daily quests you can pick up today, and now there's a 6th one where you keep clicking on it and it just keeps feeding you quests, but you can only hold like 4 or 5 at once. You finish those, you can go back and buy more, and they cost like 5,000 glimmer, just your currency, which you can now hold up to 250,000 at once. So it's like, if you want to dive deep into this thing and really farm this thing, you can. It's going to cost you a little bit, but thankfully it's not like silver, the premium currency, or legendary shards, which would be the similar currency here.
Yeah, just go away. But yes, I still love Apex. Apex still plays great. It still feels great. It's still a good game. I still like the new map too.
How much time is left in the season?
At this point, I think like 6 weeks still.
Okay, quite a bit.
Because I think they do it on like, it's either 3 or 4 month cycles.
Right.
I think it just got up to week 8, and I think there's like 15 weeks in each season or something like that.
So like really a season, it's like three months.
Yeah, basically yes. They went literal with all of those terminology.
Right. Which I'm very happy to see most games as service games doing that now. Like their season for a season pass is 3 months. I appreciate that. So it's not just like what season pass usually means for like non-online games. Where it's like, here's all the DLC we're releasing. It's like, no, here's your pass for 3 months.
Yeah. Like it feels like a good length of time because it's not super grindy, and you can basically play casually and get to where you need to get to.
Yeah.
Well, and it also hopefully gives you time that you don't have to be playing this game or any other game every waking moment of your life to get somewhere in it.
Yeah, you can miss a week or two and you're still fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. But yes, Apex Legends, fun. Dead by Daylight, Dead by Friday took place. Shout out to Rob, Justin, Jason, and BTG. All jumped in and had some Dead by Friday fun times. We had yet another Claudette 4-way going on this week, so fun was had by everyone. I think Rob may have changed his preferred character over to Claudette because she's so easy to play.
Nice.
Like, the survivors have ratings of like easy, intermediate, or difficult, like how hard they are to play. And Claudette is rated as easy. She's not easy. She's super easy. Like
story mode.
You can heal yourself. Like
okay,
that's a kind of a game changer when you're going up against like killers who are pretty good at chasing you down.
Right. You're a tutorial character.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
I'm still chalking away at the season pass for that too. Like literally jumping in, doing a daily or two, jumping out kind of thing, similar to Apex.
Yeah.
Dead by Friday, fun nights were had by all.
Moon Pair on Xbox Live.
Yes. Everyone was a little bit loopy because we were all pretty exhausted.
Yeah,
so it was one of those mental kind of nights where it's just like, I don't know what's happening, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
I'm along for the ride.
Yes.
You get tired enough where you just keep running into a wall and you don't realize it. You think you're just turning a corner.
Right. Why did the killer get me? And you're like in a corner just looking at the floor.
Well, I always think of that episode of The Office where they're all playing Call of Duty.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
I mean, it was dumb fun because we're all like slowly working at these challenges for the season pass stuff, and like Inferno asked, like, was it worth it? I was like, look, dude, do it the easy way. Jump in, do the challenges, get your basic free cosmetic stuff without paying for any of it, and then if you feel at the end that the premium path that you can unlock at any point, if you feel that that's all a bunch of stuff you're interested in, then pay the $10 and get that content that you've unlocked just by going down the free path.
Yeah.
Like, give it a shot, see how things go. But I mean, Dead by Daylight, it's fun, it's great. I play it every week. I really need to get new games. Like, not that I don't have any other games to play. It's just nothing.
But you got those season passes, man. You gotta rank them up.
There is that maximum of 2. Them's the rules.
Yeah.
I will say that I did find it funny that my wife and I had a conversation about Dead by Daylight this week. How we are both heartbroken and thunderstruck by the fact that she got hardcore into it, and then about 2 months after she completely fell off the cliff with the game is when I got hardcore into it. And like now she doesn't want to touch it at all.
Right.
And then what's going to happen in like 6 months is I'm going to fall off a cliff, and then she's going to get back into it.
Yep. There can only be one.
It always stays fresh between you two.
Yeah,
yes.
That's true. You don't have to compete for anything. It's great.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude. You do know there are achievements in the game.
I'm well aware. Yes.
And you know that there's a tally about how many achievements you've unlocked.
I have seen that there's been some discussion on this very show. Yeah.
Yes. And there may or may not be a very competitive streak that runs through my wife, which is the reason why we don't play competitive games.
Right.
Period.
Yep.
Because we will both find a way to compete in whatever we're doing.
Somehow, some
way, it will happen. It's like when you wish upon a star for married couples who like to fight.
Right.
Okay, moving on from Dead by Daylight. Gears 5.
Yeah.
Pretty much when I haven't been playing either of the above 2 games, I've pretty much just been playing Gears 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's got a real good story so far.
Mm-hmm. How far are you now?
Without spoiling anything as much as possible, airplane landing, satellite place.
Act 2 or 3?
3. The very start of Act 3, the airplane landing in that location.
That was cool.
Uh-huh.
That was cool. It was fun to see. Here's this giant snowy place, and like here's everything's all locked down, and then here's pretty much the opposite.
Yep. I did like the line, "I don't like old men in deserts, yet here I am."
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really good.
Really like Kate. The writing, it feels like they have stepped up her writing considerably for this game.
Kate and Dell are such a good combo. So Kate and Dell are a great team, and Dell and Jack are a really great team. And I like that Kate and Jack are not a team. Like,
Yes.
she does not care.
With the one exception at the end of the last act where she says, "Thank you for being here. This would be so much harder without you." And Dell's like, "Wait, are you talking to me or are you talking to Jack?" And she's like, "Well, duh, I'm talking to Jack, obviously."
Right. I really liked Act 2 a lot. I think because there's so much conversation between the two. Even when I thought they had exhausted all of it, you get back on that skiff or whatever it is, and they're back chatting about what are you going to do after you leave the Gears, you know, like, yeah. It's
what would you do if you could go anywhere? Are we talking pre-war or post-war?
Right, what did you think about the sort of quasi-open world of Act 2?
I like it for exactly what you just said, because riding around, don't get me wrong, it's literally just an open world, an open area with no enemies that you don't have to fight, that you're just moving from location to location. And I am perfectly fine with that, because there's a bunch of optional places to explore where you get sweet-ass upgrades for Jack. There is a whole bunch of conversation. Like, there is... because Gears does what Gears does, which is it gives you a big time skip and then doesn't bother filling in all of the gaps. Like at the start of Gears 4, it's like, why is JD not in the cog? Who is JD? Why is he not in the cog? Why
Where
is he...
Marcus?
Yeah. He was clearly a former cog because they keep talking about him like he's a cog, but I don't know why he's not in the cog anymore.
Right. What year is it? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, so that open world area has allowed them to flesh out so much more of the story that you don't get in the games. So I now know that JD left the cog because of the incident that happened at Settlement 2. Yes. I know what happened at Settlement 2, kind of. I have backstory filled out on the outsiders, the strangers, the stragglers, the whatever they're called.
Whatever they're called. One of those.
Diesel and Ramon, however you want to call them. That was a wrestling joke. Thank you to all the wrestling fans who got that one.
Shrug.
Yes. It was really good to be exploring that area and having all of that chatter filling in the lore. It's very much the Kratos and what's his face on the boat from the new God of War game.
Yeah, Kratos and boy.
Yes, where it allows the conversations to fill in the world and help expand that kind of story, which is very useful because now I absolutely hate JD. Wasn't the biggest fan of him in the first place.
Right.
Now I think he is the biggest POS on the planet.
He's done some stuff and it's not good. And then
he. Go ahead.
Oh,
you first.
I really.
All right, ladies, calm down. Let someone through the door.
No. You please, you first. I really appreciated. You had mentioned that there's no enemies in that area, and I'd really appreciate that. Not only to give it a breather, because Gears is typically like, all right, we finished a big boss fight. The breather is like 15 seconds until you kick down a door and there's more Locust out there. I really like that you got the opportunity to say, all right, there's a crashed ship over there. I have it on my map. I don't really feel like fighting anything now. I'm just going to go explore a little bit more. If I want to go fight stuff, go do this. You have like 1 or 2 fights. You do a small encounter, and then you kind of go back on your way.
It's been real interesting so far as well, seeing how they have expanded the lore for the Locust and the
Swarm?
Thank you. Yeah. For the Locust and the Swarm, how they've expanded that. I really can't say anything about that because that's huge spoiler territory, and I'm going to avoid any of that conversation if at all possible.
How did you...
Gears of War.
Hashtag Gears 5. Thank you very much.
That's right. It's no longer Gears of War. Yeah.
Whatever.
How did you fare against the final boss of Act 2?
Well, I was fine. I
Okay.
crushed it like you wouldn't believe, because that's also one of the hardest boss fights in the previous Gears of War games.
Yep.
Not gonna particularly tell you which Gears game.
Yeah.
Enjoy that. Troll through 5 different Gears games to
Enjoy
figure out
that-
who the boss
that-
is.
That callback. Yeah.
Yes.
I kept getting some unfortunate placements where like the boss would jump and it would like jump through me and I would just it's like, oh, cool. Okay, I was just in the wrong place and they took the wrong jump. All right.
Okay, so you just don't roll, apparently, is the lesson I'm
Well,
learning
it's
from here.
not even that I don't roll. It's just like it was like the boss. I don't want to spoil the boss fight, but like when the boss is like jumping out of where it occasionally is,
Yes.
it would like jump on top of me. It's like you can't jump that far. Like that's not. Yeah, it was a lot of bad luck.
Yeah. I mean, I was fine. Like, I did it in one shot. I'm playing on the middle difficulty.
Jesus.
Because honestly, Gears have always been those games where I will hand in the air say right now, I will never get every achievement in any Gears game because they all have seriously.
Yep.
So they can go shove that straight up their achievement holes.
Unless that's your one game you're playing until Gears 6 comes out, there's no way.
I was say, did they separate it? Because it used to be if you played in co-op on like the hardest difficulty, they just had the one trophy for beating the game on the hardest difficulty. Do they still have that, or is there a separate thing for beating it hardest solo and then beating hardest co-op?
In general, I think it's doesn't matter if you play co-op or single player. There is you will get the achievement of playing it on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
They also do the thing now where whoever you're playing with, they can set their own difficulty.
Yes.
So if me and Boston wanted to play together, Boston could throw it on intermediate, and then I could put it on insane, and then I could make progress towards the insane achievement while having someone who's got baby mode turned on.
Yep.
So it would be quite helpful in that case.
And you can play 3-player co-op, so someone will play Kate, someone will play Dell, and someone will play as Jack.
I was like, 'cause that is something that I really liked about Gears, was being able to do co-op. Even if you didn't get the achievement, though, playing those games on the hardest difficulty in co-op
it's so
was
good.
still a massive pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But it was fine because it was you and 3 other people just shooting the S while you're getting your crap kicked.
Yeah, those were always really great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. I haven't even touched Escape. I haven't touched Horde. I haven't touched any of that kind of mode yet. So right now I'm doing the power walk through, literally power walk, considering how these people move. I'm doing the power walk through the campaign to try and get to that as fast as I can. Because there's like 10 other games I need to beat in the next 3 weeks.
Well, the good news is you're already halfway through, because Act 3 is about as long as Act 2 is, and then Act 4 is about as short as Act 1 is. So you don't have a crazy amount left.
Yeah, I mean, I've figured as much. I've figured Act 2, especially Act 3, the thing you bring from Act 2 into Act 3, I was like, well, it's just going to be another one of those, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like, here is the big flag saying, get ready for more of this.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're going to do that, just with a different color.
And that's fine. Speaking of which, 4K, HDR, 60 frames a second. This game is gorgeous on about 50 different levels. Like,
yeah, it looks really great on PC, but I don't have like a 4K or HDR on my PC, and I don't have an X. But yeah,
and they've done that thing which, like you mentioned it. It's like at the start of the game, it's very green, very brightly colored at the start of the game. Then Act 2, they go into the blues. Yeah, and I really like the huge range of like just the blue hue that they put on everything. Is great.
Colors.
Yeah. I'm guessing Act 3 they go into the reds. Is my guess.
Yep.
And I'm really enjoying like the counterpoint between all of the different colors that they're using. So it's not just running through a stupid burnt out city because it's stupid burnt out wars.
And it's red because it's on fire.
Yeah, red because of fire, and then gray and brown everywhere else. Like, thank you for introducing color back into these games.
I'm very curious to see how good the set piece at the end of Act 3 looks, because it's very big, and it looks a lot different than what Gears games normally do.
Yeah. Well, on that front, I'm hoping that that set piece that you're talking about is the set piece from Gears of War 4, which I absolutely adored. So we'll see if that's what you're talking about when I eventually get there.
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm just rolling around, shooting some people, chainsawing some people, enjoying going stealth and then stabbing people in the back, because why not?
That's the stuff.
Like, they've done a lot of good things for it, and honestly, I kind of want to play through the campaign again and then just play it on the hardest difficulty, but I want to play as Jack. Like, I want the Jack experience.
Yeah, I want to try playing as Jack, because that seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and not to mention he can also take over monsters.
Yep, that ability is really good.
Like, I want to play as Jack.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I don't know Jack, but I want to play as Jack.
There you go.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. No, I'm gonna get more into that as it goes, and like I said, I'm gonna try out the Escape and Horde and everything else.
Yeah.
As and when I can, but we also have more games to play, including my next game, which is Death Stranding.
Yeah, so I was telling you that I was playing a game up until about 5 minutes before we started a Skype call. That's because I spent all morning finishing Death Stranding. So
okay.
I've now completed the story of Death Stranding, but I will go second. I'm very curious. I watched a little bit of your stream for Act 1, and I did miss your first interaction with the BTs. But
well, I was gonna say, I also watched your stream and saw all the warm and fuzzies that you did not have for this game.
Honestly, it's my least favorite thing is when somebody tries to play this big emotional thing and you don't have a connection to the characters.
Yeah.
Like, a good example I thought of for this is Guardians of the Galaxy, the very first movie.
Mm-hmm.
That movie starts with a kid whose mother is dying of cancer and doesn't have a dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's a human connection that you can immediately make to the kid, to the mother, or to his family. Like, that's... Don't get me wrong, it's a sucker punch of emotions.
Sure, but you get it.
Yeah, it's literally, it's playing at that feeling. Whereas the way this thing starts is it's an introduction to the world, all of the madness, and all of the bat poop crazy stuff going on there.
Void Out, UTA, all the stuff. Timefall. This lady's eating a bug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my name's whatever it is, Fortune.
Fragile.
It's not Fortune. I know it's not Fortune. Fortune's the
it's the MGS2 lady.
Yes,
Jesus.
She's
Her
the
name
one who's
is
got the whale.
Fragile.
Yes.
Yes.
She's obviously part of some delivery company. So are you. There's this world. You had an electric bike which drove off the side of a cliff, which looks cool. So I'm looking forward to getting that at the end.
Yep.
Fun fact: when I started the game, the sound on my stream wasn't working. I forgot to route the game audio through, so I basically just made the noises for everything as I was going.
I'm saying why not bridges. I'm fragile. Chomp,
I'm going to fix by that point. But it throws this whole new world, whole new terminology, whole new lexicon at you, and then 2 seconds after you're trying to figure out what is going on in the world, it's like, by the way, this person is very important to feel. It's like, no, dude! Literally, I'm running through the forest trying to pick up these super meds or smart meds or whatever it is. You've explained nothing to me, and now you want me to care about this relationship that I don't know anything about.
Yep.
Go away. Just go away.
A relationship with an incredibly important person that you're like, this person wants to talk to you, and you're like, what? Why? And the game tells you, and you're like, really? Really? Me? Mm-hmm. Really?
It's like, go away.
Right.
Just don't
let me into the forest.
Don't try and hit me with some emotional thing when you're literally dumping an entirely new world on me.
Yep.
Introduce the world, the mechanics, all of that stuff, and then save that cutscene for like 2 hours down the line.
Right. I have ghosts to worry about right now. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. So I did my first corpse run, which is how I'm referring to that mission.
Yep.
I did that moment. I did the journey back, which was so cool, so tense. Like,
yep. And that noise they make when they stomp, like that, like that noise is really great.
Yeah, really, really good touch, which I actually mentioned on the stream, is when you get the cut scene and it's showing their footprints going down. It does the really clever touch of footprint and then claws.
Yes.
Footprint and then claws.
Really smart.
It's a really good touch because it's like, okay, it's not just a footprint, it's a footprint with claws.
It's like human claws. It's like, oh no.
And it's the same motion that you would make as you're pushing off with a foot that had claws on the front of it.
Yep.
The claws come into the ground. It's a nice, solid little touch. And then there's time bugs and like super meds and Mountain Dew that's more clearly realized than the kind of Mountain Dew that exists in real life.
It's the nicest.
That's Monster.
Yeah, it's the nicest can of Monster I have ever seen. Thankfully, that gets replaced later on.
I was telling him in the stream, I was like, the can in the game looks better than the can I'm holding in my hand.
Yeah, like it's like 8K Monster cans. Like,
hopefully, fingers crossed, Rich Energy buys a sponsorship for this.
God, that'd be so great.
I would love to see Rich Energy in Death Stranding as the most stupid thing that exists.
Yeah. So, how far did you make it?
I did the corpse mission, and I accepted it and undertook the great project. And I made it to the first way station.
Okay, so is that chapter 2, I think?
I don't know. Because it doesn't do a great job of doing those things. I think it might be chapter 2 based on... My next step is to go to 2 other locations to then go to the 3rd location, which is the next city. So I think I might be in Act 2.
Yeah, it does a really great job of telling you when a chapter starts because it's like a black screen with just white writing on it. But
yes, I definitely got that.
Okay, they're near chapter 2.
But then it's hard to see where else it is. Like Gears, you pause the game, it's like Act 2, Chapter 3, this is the name of the chapter. It's like, I don't even... Okay. Let's rewind time a little bit here.
Okay.
Before Metal Gear Solid 5, before Metal Gear Solid 4, before all of that madness, there was a little game called Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
Yes. One of the finest Metal Gear Solid games out there.
One of the greatest games of all time, period.
I can get behind that, sure.
That game was incredible because it mixed the mechanics of Metal Gear Solid, which, whether you like them or not, that's up to you. I happen to really like a lot of the Metal Gear mechanics, the whole stealth thing. Also, if you don't feel like going stealth, you can just shoot people in the face, and that's fine. It mixed that with basically base building, which for anyone who came along when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out was like, oh, it's so great, you could build a base and you select people to put stuff. It's like, dude, go back and play the PSP version of Peace Walker and you tell me where that came from. It came from Peace Walker. You people are just appreciating something that's quality 10 years after it's actually existed already.
And then it smushed in Monster Hunter too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This feels like they've taken all of the Metal Gear Solid gameplay out.
Yep.
And now it's just a game about statistics and bars and graphs and stuff like that. Like, what's the spider chart? What I haven't had that explained to me yet.
Spider chart? The star?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody has explained that to me. I guess it's like, I'm guessing it's either reputation or experience in the different methods of delivery. And I'm a good enough gamer to understand that. I'm a good gamer, understood that. I can kind of get that because I have played video games before.
Yeah.
But it doesn't explain it.
Well, have you ranked up as a porter yet? So has it popped up and okay, so that's when it starts really making sense. Basically, when you fill up, so it's a star and there's 5 points, and each type of delivery you complete, the better you complete it, the more experience you'll get on one of the points of the star. And when you fill one of those up by 10, it basically ranks up that point in the star, and it ranks up you as a porter, and then you'll be able to, you'll have more stamina, you'll hold your breath for longer.
Get better shoes, so on and so forth.
No, better shoes come from a totally different way. These are like how you as Sam do. Like, you can swim better, you get more likes and stuff like that. All that stuff comes from leveling up that star.
Okay.
It never really tells you until you rank up one of the points for the first time, and then it's like, hey, by the way, now you have another bar of stamina. And it's like, oh, okay, so I should be doing more of this. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels like it's not explaining anything.
No.
Like,
I think the game, up until you get to the engineer in chapter 3, I feel like the game is expecting you to be along for the ride without necessarily giving you a ton of reasons why you should be.
yeah, it doesn't say anything at all. Like,
Yeah.
I'm don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to putting a box on my back and walking it to the next point
Yep.
and just enjoying the quote unquote puzzle of navigating
A
the
to B.
environment.
Yep.
I am perfectly happy with
Drawing your
that.
route line, like I love that stuff. That's the stuff I love in this game.
I am perfectly happy with doing that. But I need all of the other stuff, at least like a nod and a wink to this is an experience bar, wink, wink.
Right.
These are likes that you are getting. Why do I need likes? I don't know. Apparently that's based on the experience or something. I don't know.
It'll level up one of those points of the star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm in for this. At the moment, I'm in for this game literally to solve the puzzle of the landscape.
Yes.
I'm there to literally A to B, give me literally a ruler. Let me put that ruler from where I am to where I need to go, and let me figure out if I can get there without deviating from that line in the slightest. As Rob, who also joined in the stream late on, said, go straight over, you coward, is my plan of attack for anything that's like mountains.
Right. But I think you're totally right with the puzzle aspect, and you're going to see it more now that you're getting more UCA places to deliver to. Is like, all right, I can hold 150 kilograms of cargo, and
Maybe you can, smartass. I can only hold 120.
I can hold 375 at this point.
I'm so good.
But like, you have this set amount you can hold, and you know that walking gets harder the further you push that weight limit. So it's like, all right, I can take on 4 deliveries at 3 places, and if I do like this way, and I can go over this river, and it's like I can make these stops to do this, and I can get 4 deliveries done, and it gets easier, and maybe I'll scoop up a delivery or 2 from these places that I'm visiting. And it's like,
yeah,
it's just this cool cargo delivery transport simulator, which is what I wanted out of the game.
It's crazy mountaineer. It's crazy taxi without the speed or the Offspring music or anything like that.
Right.
It's
No music.
Yes. Well, no.
And ghosts.
There is music.
Yeah.
They try and put that stupid music on because I think you said it best. It was like they saw Red Dead and thought that was a cool moment. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And they do it 3 times in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
And I'm assuming it's never going to happen again.
It stops for about 30 hours, and then they do it a whole bunch.
Is that as you get further west by any chance?
One of the biggest things I hope that they patch in this game later is when you're in your private room, also known as Norman Reedus' shower simulator, you can listen to your music there if you look at the United States map, but you can't listen to it out in the world. So like you're scooping up all these songs throughout the game. Like every chapter or 2, they'll give you like a song or 2. So you finish with like 15 or 20 songs. But I can't do anything with them out in the world, which I hope they patch in later, because it's like I'm going to go 10,000 kilometers from point A to B to C to E, but I would like to sort of listen to some of the really good music in this game, and it won't let me. I think that's a big bummer.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I find most interesting about this is I am not a Kojima worshipper. Me neither. I do not prostrate myself before the KP altar. And my opinion of him has always been he has some cool ideas.
Yeah.
That he writes down with a Sharpie on a piece of paper or a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Sharpie on a whiteboard sounds very Kojima-like. And then he literally gives that to people and says, "This is my idea. Make it happen."
Right.
There is a giant fire whale that chases you through this ending, through this intro to this game. Why?
Yeah.
Does it matter? Yes, it matters. You guys figure it out. You're the writers.
I played Sonic Adventure.
Think this is cool.
I thought it should be on fire.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if you could hide in a toilet and then play on speakerphone the sound of Johnny from the previous Metal Gear Solid games having diarrhea and make every god go away from you?
Right.
That's a cool idea. Let's insert that into the game.
Sounds like a Kojima idea.
Yeah.
You can literally do that in Metal Gear Solid 5. You can find a tape of Johnny making the diarrhea noises, and if you hide in a toilet and a guard is investigating it, if you put your cassette player on speaker and then play that, they'll go away.
Yeah, they go, "Oh, sorry, man. I'll leave you alone." Yeah.
Like, that has always felt like that's been Kojima's thing, is here is a cool thing, you guys are the writers, figure out how to make it happen around it.
Right.
And so far, my biggest question is, what cool moments is Kojima going to do for this that doesn't involve throwing pee-bombs at people, poo bombs at people, peeing and making mushrooms appear?
Yeah, which sucks.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever happened there, that's fine. You know what I would kill for? I would kill for a Death Stranding game. Very, very similar game to this, except set in the Dune universe.
Oh, wow.
Where you are going from camp to camp to camp of Fremen, trying to basically like make your way up the ranks.
Right.
So you have to walk across the deserts and you have to walk across the mountains and all that stuff. Except, by the way, you've got sandworms to worry about, just so you know.
Right.
Like, to me, take Death Stranding and stick it in a desert, and I'm in. Especially if you include all of that Fremen stuff, which has, you know, a great world that I'm already into. This game, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, dudes. I don't. There's a big city there. Someone died. I don't know why we have to get rid of this body as quickly as humanly possible because of a quote-unquote void out, whatever that means, which they still haven't really explained. I know what it is, but they haven't explained it in the slightest.
Yeah, there's some stuff in the game that they are expecting you to go into, like the
I'm not going into the codex.
Lore entries, and it's like, it will teach you. You'll get some mail every once in a while that'll explain some of that stuff, and some of the stuff will get explained throughout the game. They never explain what Doom stands for. I have no idea. That was kind of a bummer, but they pretty well explain everything else.
Yeah. I mean, so far it's interesting.
Yeah.
I will continue playing this game. I'm looking forward to literally just walking across the fields and the mountains.
That's my favorite part.
The sooner the story stops, the better.
So, let's talk about the rest of the game. And I'm very much not going to spoil anything because it's still really new. I will say, for anybody that's playing this, there's nothing missable in the game, and when you're done with the story, it puts you back in the world. So you don't have to worry about 100%ing it before you see the credits or anything. Like, you don't have to worry about that. It basically, you have the credits, and then it just puts you right back in the world. So you don't have to worry about that. I really liked Chapter 3. Chapter 3 was basically like, it was the beginning of
the rest of your life.
That'd be great. This game is bookended by story. And
so Kojima.
Yeah, but in a way that I feel like, I'll get to it in a minute, but you're like wrapping up the point, like by the time you're done with Chapter 2, when you get in Chapter 3, the game's just like, you know what you need to do? Like, just go do it. Like, here's all this space. Just figure it out.
They want you to village people it.
Yeah, like
Go west, by the way. That was a good joke for everybody who didn't immediately laugh at that one.
And then, like, the last couple of hours are not that. But the middle of the game is really, Norman Reedus's delivery game, and it's really, really great. Especially the beginning of Chapter 4 and, like, the entirety of Chapter 5. That's all insane. That whole thing is just bonkers. And as they ramp up the difficulties of the deliveries, and as you get into harsher environments as you push further west, the game gets a lot more interesting because your capabilities ramp up. Your shoes get better, your I don't want to spoil it. Your gear overall gets better. You can carry more.
You get the suit, the whatever it's called. Like from what I understand, you get some form of like exoskeleton thing or whatever.
Yeah, so you already know. You get exoskeletons. You rank them up. You get a variety of kinds, and those are going to help you traverse terrain better, carry stuff more.
Sorry, you said kinds, and I immediately had Heinz, and then I was going to do that impression.
Yeah. So you get a bunch of different varieties, and as your capabilities, and you get better about balancing your load and getting better about figuring out how you're going to deliver stuff, the locations get more difficult. And I think that stuff is really interesting. I think the stuff that I have the hardest time with the game is I feel like, in comparison to Death Stranding, the Metal Gear games, probably, arguably the first three, had a fair balance between gameplay and story stuff / cutscenes. And where Death Stranding falls on that is you get the first 2 chapters are nothing but cutscenes and codec calls and all this stuff. And then it's a wasteland for 40 hours until the end couple of chapters are cutscene after cutscene after cutscene, with a little bit of gameplay, mostly to give you an opportunity to save and kind of take a break.
Yeah.
I would have appreciated all that stuff getting more spread out, because like if I have to hear Die Hardman's jingle one time and have him say Sam and then talk about something, and then when I get into a menu have him explain that thing a second time when I'm hovering over a new piece of equipment, for then Deadman to come in to explain something else about it. It's like, please God, stop. I know how to fabricate equipment by now. I've been playing for 50 hours. Just let me get to the credits of this game. So that's the part that I was disappointed in, because the story stuff is fine. I'm not 100% happy with the path that they took to get to the ending. I'm happy with the ending, but I think part of what I would have really appreciated is there's one large facet of the game that I wish that they had just completely removed and kept the story smaller and more focused, like primarily on Sam rebuilding the country.
Mm-hmm.
And when it strays from that, I lose patience and I lose attention very quickly, because it just goes way into the weeds at that point. I really love BB, and I am incredibly happy that they were with me and they provided that service to find ghosts, because most interactions with the BTs don't get easier throughout the game. They continue, like you... Okay. Conan O'Brien is in this game.
Yeah.
In the game, he is married to or dating or whatever a cosplayer. And you, first of all, the Jeff Keighley is in the game. His character is kind of funny because he's like a super Koji Pro fanboy, which is sort of like, okay, yeah, sure, like life imitating art and so forth. Conan O'Brien's appearance is frustratingly long and full of really bad jokes, but
a Conan O'Brien show.
Yeah. What she makes for you after you like rank her up like a star or two is a minor spoiler because it's not anything important. She gives you if you've been in the rain, you know how like your hood automatically comes up and it's like, she gives you an otter hood. It's like this woven otter thing, and I kept it on almost the entire game because it makes you swim a little bit better. But it makes a really funny noise when it goes over your head, and most importantly, it stays on you in really self-important cutscenes. So
oh my word!
You
Is this
have
like my
this
Dana runner thing where I've got this doll that's just smiling on my arm during something really important.
yeah, like someone is like you're like looking over Norman Reedus' shoulder, and it's like this in the foreground is this otter hood just hanging out and hugging you. That is really good. Speaking of Norman Reedus, he's really the only one I had a problem with in this game, and I really wish he hadn't voiced his character.
Okay. You wish they would have done a Guillermo del Toro with him?
Yeah, because I think almost everybody else in the game is really good. My big standouts are Troy Baker in one of my favorite performances of his of all time.
Don't think I've seen him yet. I did see his name in the credits, but I don't think I've met him yet.
He chews the scenery in this game for the entirety of his time in there, and it's so good. And I really like the guy that voices Die Hardman. He doesn't show up a lot at the beginning, but in the end of the game, he gets some pretty heavy focus, and I think his voice actor is really great, and the performance capture, especially for him and for some of the other characters, is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like the facial stuff they're doing, like the facial capture stuff they're doing is really great. It's just like everybody else is acting their heart out, and Norman Reedus is kind of not on the same level.
Honestly, Norman Reedus is doing his, well, at least up to around about the 5th season at least. He's doing his Walking Dead character.
Yeah.
Which is exactly probably how Kojima found out about him and probably why Kojima likes him.
And it's really funny because there's this famous fallout that happened between Kojima and David Hayter where David Hayter didn't get to be in MGS5.
Mm-hmm.
Norman Reedus sounds an awful lot like David Hayter for 75% of that game. It's really great. What else? I don't want to talk about this too much. I finished at 55 hours, but that is kind of inflated because there was a bunch of time where I'm like sitting paused or sitting idle time or stuff like that. I did do a bunch of stuff for some good upgrades around the game as I was kind of going, but I wasn't really focusing on 100%ing before I finished the game. So I'd say it probably took me about 45 hours doing primarily just kind of the straight path through. I really liked Death Stranding, and I think I will continue playing Death Stranding. I'm going to try to get the platinum because everything else I have now is just kind of like keep doing deliveries in this incredibly relaxing game, doing the exact thing that you really wanted to do in the game.
Yeah.
I think for me, the biggest disappointment was I wish there was more balance between gameplay and story. I loved the gameplay and I liked a lot of the story, but it being bookended so heavily, it felt really frustrating, especially when...
I mean, I streamed for 2.5 hours and I literally played the game for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it's like... It's really tough, especially at the beginning, too, because it's like, well, I'm going to make this delivery, but, like, the corpse I'm bringing keeps flopping around, and I have to, like... It's really hard to walk in a straight line, and, like, you just don't have all the tools yet, and once you do, thankfully, by the time you get all the tools, the game just kind of lets you loose.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, that beginning up until chapter 3 is you just gotta push through.
Yeah, if I never have to deliver another corpse again, I will be happy because That was a nightmare.
Bad news for you.
Yeah, I know.
But you'll have so much better tools, and like you'll have the better skeletons to like keep you grounded and like keep you a lot more stable. And you'll be ranking up your star
to help you carry corpses.
That's right. Yes,
we are the necromancers.
That's right.
It does feel like it feels like when you are overloaded on items, it feels very much like way back when in like Grand Theft Auto 3 and onwards, whenever you get drunk and try and walk down something in those games.
Yeah,
it
like
feels like that kind of game.
I'm leaning back to the right. Oh no.
Yeah.
I really like Death Stranding. I really would encourage people to, if the delivery stuff sounds interesting to you, if this like chill package delivery simulation game, like in the same vein as something like Elite Dangerous or like a truck simulator or something like that, if that sounds really relaxing to you, I think it's worth a try. I don't think the story is going to land for everyone, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, it's a Kojima game. The story will not land for everybody, no matter what.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. It really didn't totally land for me, even though I was kind of along for the ride. But man, the actual gameplay of that game is really, really great. And I think that's when it's going to keep me coming back.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, too, if you play the simulating games anyway, you're usually making up your own story to kind of keep you going anyway, at least in your mind. You don't tell anybody about it, because it's probably embarrassing. But I know I do, playing Elite.
You don't
got to fill that time.
Nobody gets to insult my original characters that I have designed, drawn, and done the backgrounds for all of my Elite Dangerous ships.
These are my OCs, don't steal them.
There's a lot of time going back and forth between Hutton.
Yep. Yeah. But I think the thing with me is this probably will end up being like a really good podcast game.
Yes.
Like, a genuinely good, like Elite, like these other things, like, and I'm looking forward to that, like, to enjoying just one of those kinds of games again. Something to make Boston smile, at least. I have avoided everything to do with this, with this game. Like, so I've avoided spoilers. Anytime it comes up on a podcast, I skip it.
Skip.
Full credit to the Beastcast. They did do a 40-minute section on this when it first came out, and they literally said, we are going to talk about Death Stranding. In the show description will be the time we stopped talking about it.
Nice.
So I skipped straight to that point.
Perfect.
The main takeaway I got from listening to the Beastcast since then is Dan Reichert despises this game.
Yes.
Seems like none of them like it.
Yeah. It seems like on both coasts, none of them really enjoy it. And I get it. Like, having played through the entirety of it, I think it's one of those incredibly divisive games. Like, either story aside, because Kojima's stories are always going to be divisive. Like, I was talking to TVGP alumnus, the Hannah, the other day when we were playing Destiny, and it's like, I envy those who are playing this as their first Kojima game, because for those of us that
don't have the luggage.
Well, not the luggage, but like for those of us that have the experience in the Metal Gear Solid series, we have seen some crazy stuff. And the stuff that this game presents, expecting you to be like, oh, whoa, nuts, is sort of like, oh, okay. That checks. Like that all fits with Kojima stuff. I would love to be that person experiencing for this first time where it's like, they did the what, like
just how far the insanity can go.
Yeah, and it's like I envy that, and I think between the story probably not landing for a lot of people, understandably, and the gameplay being, I feel like if you don't like that gameplay, you're all the way not going to like it, or you're going to be like Moon and I, and you're going to be like, this is the most relaxing podcast package delivery game I've played in a while. It's like this AAA huge budget Sony funded cargo delivery game, and I like that a lot. But it's one of those games where I'm seeing people push back against it, and it's like, yeah, I see why you don't like this, and I see all these examples why you don't like this, and I get it. That's all kind of the reasons why I like it. Not to be contrarian, but it's just that's how hot and cold this game is for so many people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And honestly, it's a Kojima thing. It's like you either love or hate his stuff. Like there are some things he's done that I absolutely adored. I think Peace Walker is legitimately one of the greatest games of all time, considering
so good.
The system it came out on, the things they did. Like that game is shockingly amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see everything he does to try and make people think Raiden is cool. And nobody thinks Raiden is cool.
No.
But
not even Raiden thinks he's cool.
Platinum come along, and Platinum made Raiden cool.
Yeah.
Like, it just takes a different perspective sometimes from what I feel like he gets laser focused on what he wants, and like everything else kind of falls by the wayside. But I mean, like we said, it's a package delivery game, which I will continue to play at my leisure.
Yeah,
literally as and when I can.
I'm excited for you to I'm excited for you to get through it. I think we'll have a really good conversation next week, and then hopefully you'll finish it soonish, and then we can do a spoiler cast.
Okay.
Because I will mark down some notes for spoiler cast, because there are things that I want to talk about. Mostly, everyone in this game needs to shut up, especially Hartman. Stop talking.
I did love the fact that you showed up on the stream and the first thing you said was, "Please shut up, Hardman."
Yeah. Oh no, Die Hardman. He talks a lot. Hartman, that is another character. He needs to shut up forever. I don't like that dude at all. Just the worst. Anyways, yeah.
But yes, is that all on Death Stranding?
Yeah. We'll
Okay.
I think we'll dive deeper in future weeks.
We will get back to that, yes. My final game this week is Forza Horizon 4. I beat the game. I spent 5 million in-game credits to finally finish that last barn find, because I wasn't playing the game for another 40 hours just to get that time done. So Forza Horizon 4, retail 1,000 done. I'm done. Game gets installed. That's another 80 gigabytes free on my hard drive.
It's so big. It's so good though. Like I still, if anyone listening hasn't played it and you don't despise racing games, like this isn't gonna make you a racing game convert. It's so good. Like, please go play it. It's on Game Pass for both PC and console.
Mm-hmm.
It's on sale right now for $24.
That's such a good deal.
I've been eyeing it because I did really like the third game, but I just haven't had the time.
Honestly, four is about at least twice as good as 3, I think. Like the variety, the seasons, everything like that. Just don't let the loading screens bring you in. Don't get the Lego DLC. Don't do it.
Resist.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing. So over to Nimp.
Okay, so played some Cold Steel 3. Don't really have a whole lot to talk about. Just pretty much just saying that I played it.
Still going fun. Well.
Yeah. Next game was Metroid: Samus Returns.
Oh yeah.
I am still enjoying this game, but I am lost.
Like a Metroidvania game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They give you a basically like a sonar scanner that you can use, and it'll ping the area around you, so you can see if there's any hidden areas or anything like that. And I have spots that I haven't been to all over the place. I just don't know how to get to any of it.
Oh, that's the worst.
So I'm still messing around with that. The biggest complaint that I have about this game is its counter system, where there are so far all the enemies that I've come up against that are just around in the levels, they will do this blinking thing and then they'll charge at you. And then if you hit X, she'll swing her gun arm up and basically stun him, and then she'll lock onto him and you can just sit there and shoot him. It's fine when it's just one enemy, but when you have 3 enemies at once that are coming at you and they're like almost back to back running at you, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But it's not like anything. Like, I've got 2 energy tanks right now. Nothing's taking me out anytime soon. So, so I'll keep plucking away at that fun thing. Next game that I played, Star Wars Fallen Order.
Yeah.
I have finished the third planet, and I've unlocked a ton of stuff for BD1. To the point that I've started going back to the other worlds and unlocking stuff. You know, Metroid
that's the
stuff. The general consensus for this game seems to be that it could have done with a little bit more time in the oven. Like, are you feeling that, or
graphically, yes. There was actually something I was going to bring up too about the load times. If you fall off the level, like, you know, you just happen to jump off a cliff by accident, or you're doing one of the sliding sections and you fall off, you load back almost instantaneously. It's like 3 to 5 seconds maybe at the most.
Okay.
If you are killed by an enemy so far with the Xbox One S, it's almost a full minute to reload.
Oh, weird.
So that kind of sucks. But I have seen it with the graphics too, and I'd actually heard it on Beastcast where they were talking about how the Wookiees in this game don't look right. They are correct. They do not look right.
Oh, weird.
I mean, you can tell they're supposed to be Wookiees, but definitely graphically, no, it's not there.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really, really dislike about this game is the sliding sections, because the controls are not great in that, and you are constantly just sliding off the edge, and so you're just reloading, which luckily, you know, the loading for that isn't that much, so you're basically right back there doing it again. But there's been times where it's like you're trying to do this hairpin turn, and the game is not meant for you to play it like that.
It's like those Mario 64 sliding sections where it's like, how am I supposed to do this?
But I've unlocked another force ability. I have full force pull now.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome, because now pretty much any stormtrooper that's in front of me, I can pull him towards me and then just stab him with my lightsaber.
Great. Yeah, that's a good combo. There we go.
Makes me happy.
Yeah.
But I've hit a part in the game where I had to fight. There was like a boss in this area where there normally wasn't a boss, and I had to fight them. And the fight was going okay until I got him down to down by about a quarter health. And all of a sudden, his fighting patterns just completely changed. It was like fighting a brand new enemy that I'd never encountered before. And all of a sudden, they were faster, they were stronger. I was still doing all right. I was still winning. And then they did this BS thing where they threw something at me, and I couldn't move anymore. And I was getting really mad until I found out that this was a story thing, and I was not supposed to win this.
Okay.
And I am fine with this now.
Right.
Because I'm not... It locks you where you can't move, and normally there's like I don't think there's been another time in this game where I can't move in this. Like, I've never been stunned. You can stun yourself by running out of stamina, and then you're just kind of stuck there and you're screwed until it refills. But this is the first time where I've been stun locked and I couldn't move. So I was kind of freaking out and not too happy. But once I figured out it was story related, I was fine with it.
Yeah, it's like that happens, then they jump on you, then the cutscene starts, and you're like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah,
thank goodness.
Well, and that was the thing too, because it took a while to load, and if I remember correctly, it does have you go to the respawn screen, but I think my game glitched out because I hit respawn, but then it took forever for it to put me back in the game. And then it started doing a cutscene, but the cutscene wasn't like fully loaded in there just yet. So there was like, I wasn't entirely sure what was going on until everything finally started working properly.
Right.
And then it was fine.
Weird.
Which that was before my game took a weird turn for events with everything else. If you want to hear about that,
pre-show stuff,
$5 a month.
Yeah, it's a tale.
Yeah. So I'll get more into that. I'm looking forward to, because they have this world that they introduce to you like right off the bat when you can start going to different planets, and it is a Sith world that you would know. Well, trying to think, it's technically a Sith world, but it has more to do with the Dark Sisters and brothers and stuff like that, which technically is Sith and technically really isn't. But they give this to you, and you can go there at any point. And I have not gone there yet, just because of the lore that I know about that planet. That's not someplace that you just go to.
It's not a level 2 planet.
Yeah, and from some of the people that I've talked with a little bit, it is not, in this game, they have it set up where that is not a place that you just go to and say hi to the natives. So.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward. I got to figure out a time to get into there because that's going to be pretty awesome just with story and lore. So really excited about that. The last game that I played is Ghost Recon Breakpoint on my PC because I upgraded my GPU, which that's a whole nother story where I had to take 10 snips to my case to get the GPU to fit into my case.
There you go. What card did you get?
I got a Gigabyte RX 750.
Nice.
So it's great for 1080p I or something like that. I can't remember if it's P or PI or PLZX, whatever the hell it is now.
BBQ.
Either way, I wasn't shooting for 4K because I don't have 4K monitors, and I wouldn't be able to really harness that power in the current build that I have now. This is kind of a mid-step where it's like I get this and then I finish getting everything else later.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's worked out really well for me. I instantly went through and started playing or trying out a bunch of different games. And then I got this as a free download for buying the graphics card. So popped this in and I was pretty much playing it nonstop.
Nice.
It's kind of turned into this weird crack for me where it's that nice mix of Skyrim and Far Cry, and I can fully play the range character that I enjoy where I just reach out and touch somebody with a sniper rifle and just clear out an entire facility. And these facilities are huge. There's about 20, 30, 40 people in here that you have to fight.
Wow.
It's great.
Yeah.
I had the one facility that I was trying to do, I had screwed up because I thought I could basically stealth kill I don't even know what they call them, but they're basically a fully armored guy with a minigun. They've got like the full bomb suit and helmet and everything on. And so far, it was the first time I'd ever run across them. And generally, you can get up behind somebody and sneak and just, do your stealth kill and you're good to go. And I get up behind this guy and the stealth kill action isn't popping up. And I'm like fully exposed. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good. And he turns around and I bolt. And it puts them all on alert, but not like high alert. It's just this one guy who thinks he saw something. And so what I ended up having to do for him was I have this ability that's called the Armor Buster. And I just call it my lucky one-shot, where basically this guy, it makes this noise like he's running these two metal pieces together. But really, it looks like he's just rubbing a bullet. And I've been calling it my lucky bullet because anything I headshot with this thing, it's like an instant one-hit kill. And I found this out against this armor trooper because I did that just first time trying it out. I'm like, all right, when I get this headshot, this guy's wearing a helmet. Home in on him. I shoot him. Everything goes into alert just a little bit. But the guy disappears behind the truck. I'm like, well, crap, I can't finish him because I was kind of hoping that was just like a one-hit kill, but I see his helmet fling off. Like, all right, now I can probably shoot him in the head, and now I can probably get him. Once I finally get up there, I found out, no, that was a one-hit kill, and that was just me blowing his helmet off as well.
Wow.
So, I am really liking this game. The extra weapons, it's set up pretty much like The Division, where you've got your color-coded weapons. Some of them have skills.
Your loot rarity and all that.
Yeah, you can upgrade your weapon and it'll do it for that particular weapon. Like if you have a Desert Eagle, you've got these 6 upgrades that you can do to it, and those 6 upgrades will carry over to any Desert Eagle that you pick up at that point. So if you find another one 30 hours from now that's way better and you equip it, it's going to have those upgrades that you put on there.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's really nice. But I'm really loving this game. I have it set. You can do the game where you run it as exploration or guided, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Where it'll do the video game. Yep. It'll do the video game thing of tell you, hey, go here. Or if you do exploration, you have to pick up hints throughout the game, and then you have to kind of go to this general area to figure out where it could be until you find it.
Yeah,
I've been playing it with exploration.
That's what they introduced that, I think, in AC Origins.
Yes.
Like the exploration was always the Odyssey and Origins. I think was so good to play on that in the exploration method, where it's like you read the description and then you have to figure out where on the map it is, and then you have to basically do triangulation and figure out, okay, it's to the east of this lake and to the northeast of this mountain and to the west of this other thing, and then he's like, hey, it's probably this thing here, and then you go there and you find out if it is or it isn't. Like, that was so good in Origins and Odyssey.
Yeah, and I didn't know it did it in those two games, because I really enjoyed those games too. I would have really loved it in that as well. But yeah, it's the same thing with this for weapon blueprints. The way, since I have it set up for exploration, it gives me 3 bullet points where it'll tell you it's in the Scourges region, north of Drunken Lake, and then it'll say something about like a lighthouse. Can see a lighthouse from here, from the northeast or whatever, and that's what you have to go off of. Which for me is fine, because I love reading maps and stuff, and the map in this game, like, you've got everything you need for it. It shows you the topography, that way you can see where and obviously you have where there's a mountain here, and you can see the topography for the mountain. So it's, if you don't know what a topography is, or the line chart for it, it shows you the picture of the mountain on that map anyway, so you can kind of figure it out.
Right.
But yeah, just running around and exploring, it's just been fun. I flew a helicopter for several hours just trying to figure it out with mouse and keyboard. That was entertaining. Yeah.
Yep.
Trees are not your friend in this game.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I mean, and it runs great on my computer right now. I can't wait to upgrade my computer more down the road. But yeah, besides that, that's all I've been playing. Unless you want to listen to the pre-show about why I haven't played a whole lot this week.
Just 2 quick updates about other games, because I spent the majority of my week playing Death Stranding this week. Destiny 2, the Season 9 is wrapping up now. We have 15 days or so about now. So I managed to finally get the season title, Undying, which is a pretty cool title. The final event happened. So there's been this whole thing that's been going on for the last couple weeks, like 5 weeks or so, that every week Ikora in the tower is building a gate to go attack the Vex. And every week the gate is getting bigger and more intricate, and like the scaffolding behind her is getting way bigger. And it's like more completely unprotected workers working back there. It's been pretty funny. So this past week was, hey, the gate is totally finished. Let's go attack the Vex as opposed to them attacking us. So this is called Vex Offensive Final Assault. And it replaces the Vex Offensive event that's been going on for the entire season. And when the season ends, that event goes away. Kind of a letdown. So you don't get to use the gate in the tower. You basically go do the normal Vex Offensive event that we're all kind of pretty sick of doing now by the end of the season. And you basically pull that gate into the event at the end, and it replaces the boss. And actually pulls a classic boss from Destiny 1 through that gate, the Undying Mind, and then you get to fight it again as part of this. I think we as a community were kind of hoping for more for the end of this event, like that activity changing or the boss being significantly more different than the one we're fighting. It actually seems easier, seems to have a lot less health. So I think at the end of the season, I know when this activity goes away, they're saying that story-wise, it's supposed to lead directly into the next season. No idea how that's going to happen, but we'll see in about 2 weeks. But I think overall, this season has been fine. And I think it's a cool template for future seasons. But I think if you're going to have this storyline that goes for 3 months, the payoff at the end of the season has to be a little bit bigger. And I know from Bungie's standpoint, you have to balance how big do you make this event when the event disappears forever at the end of the 3 months? You know, how much development time do you put in? But either they need to sort of pull back on the importance of it or kind of scale up the event overall.
Yeah.
But felt fine. You know, they're changing how Destiny's story is delivered. We're supposed to, these 4 seasons for this entire year is supposed to have the story bleed from one season to another. So it's supposed to, everything is supposed to sort of evolve as the year goes on, sort of assuming that maybe next year will be another large expansion, though we don't really know. But hoping that they continue to kind of work on that as the seasons go on. But finished that title, did the super hard Nightfall. I got an LFG group together last night to do it, and it's about a 15-minute strike, and it took us an hour and 45 minutes to do it, and we didn't have that many problems. So like it's cool if you don't want to do the raids. Like, this is the next step, the Nightfall, the Ordeal. You have 4 difficulties. This was the highest difficulty at 980 light, and we were all about 965. And it was really challenging. We really had to set our loadout, make sure everybody had complementary stuff, make sure we were covering everything, have all our strategy together. It was a pretty good experience that I don't really want to do every week, but maybe I'll do once a season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And lastly, Pokemon Sword. Sort of not a lot to talk about here. I finished the first 2 gyms, the grass and the water ones.
That was going to be my first question, because every day when I come home from work, or when my wife comes home from work over the weekend, the first thing I say to her when I see the Switch is, how many badges you got? Because that's always how you measure the progression, is how many badges you got.
Yeah.
Also, the badges are circle, and they all fit together to make one big badge. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool looking.
Is there still 8 of them, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The grass gym was fine. Very clearly a tutorial one. Different from previous Pokemon games before, where like previous ones I've played is like, here's a gym, and it's basically just like a super easy JRPG dungeon, and you're gonna fight people along this pathway. But now you're kind of doing little puzzles. Like the water one, you're rerouting water throughout the entire dungeon to kind of route it away from the door to get to the boss.
Yeah, it's a
Temple of Time.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a pipe puzzle basically with a bunch of water spouting everywhere.
And it's a kid's game, so it's not super complicated. You can kind of see the solution as the camera pans through the dungeon. We're like, oh, divert this. Okay, yeah, like I can get that done. I'm just having fun catching Pokemon and going in the different towns and seeing the crazy story and fighting my rival. Like, it's got all the Pokemon stuff that you want, and it looks really great, and the soundtrack is fun, and there's still 50 bajillion Pokemon, and a lot of them are new to me, and I know some of them are new to the game, but they're all adorable, and I love Pokemon. I just don't want to play them every version.
I did see the big giant octopus-looking monster thing that looked super aggressive in one of the hangout spaces. Comes really close to the camera and then smiles, and it's got the cutest anime smile ever. And it's like, okay.
One of my favorite. Monkey Senior Chat says gym music, best music. It's so good this time around. One of my favorite things about the game, though, is you can set up a tent and you can play with your Pokemon in this little campground, and you can make curry. And the best part is, as you're bringing, you've probably seen the GIFs on Twitter, as you're bringing your spoon up to your mouth, the Pokemon that's like your lead Pokemon is like leaning in, opening its mouth, and then it'll close its mouth as you close your mouth on the spoon, like very much like how a dog does when it's watching you eat, where it's like har, har. And there's a million of those really great little touches in this game that I think sells it in a way that some of the older games maybe necessarily didn't.
Like, regardless of all the stupid hate going around for this thing, the amount of little touches is mind-blowing. If you haven't read about it yet, go read about the teapot and teacups. Is it real or is it fake? Discussion.
The fake knockoff teacup
Knockoff
Pokemon.
China, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. And like, there's no gameplay. You know, one isn't weaker than the other. It's just like they have this one little symbol on it it's really good. I wish I could talk more about Pokemon Sword and Shield, but it's kind of like, here's a big, huge budget console Pokemon game, and it's kind of what people have wanted, and it has sold 6 million copies worldwide in its first week, which is stupid high. That's incredible. So
hashtag vocal minority.
That's right. And good for Game Freak, because I think it had to have been a big leap for them to take a game that has only been a handheld game for the mainline games, not counting like Stadium and stuff like that, and bring it.
Let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee.
Well, I mean, those were sort of spin-offs from what I understand from the Pokemon community. They're not like the next generation.
Oh yeah, no, this is 100% the quote unquote next Pokemon game.
Right, and it had to have been a big leap for them to leave the handhelds and go onto a platform that is inherently more connected and had to have carried a bigger budget and all this stuff. And they obviously have made some choices and cuts to save their sanity. And I think largely it has paid off, and I think Pokemon Sword and Shield is really great.
Out of curiosity, how is the little one finding watching it?
Glued to it. Like all these different animals.
Bright colors.
Yeah, like that's a penguin, that's a fox, that's a sheep. And it's like, and every time I make one faint, which we haven't really explained yet, she'll go like, bye sheep, and like it just zoop right off the field, and like something else will come out. She's like, that's an owl, bye owl, zoop. So it's been really great.
Have you played it docked and undocked at all?
Only docked. Okay. No, I did play it undocked this week because my Pro controller died. And I don't have another USB-C cable around the house because why would I?
I have one.
I have one that's connected to my Switch. Yeah.
I have one and it's connected to the Elite too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, that's where I got the other one from. Yeah.
Yeah. So I unplugged my Switch dock, plugged that into the Pro, and played it dock. Looks great, runs great on both. I've only had one frame rate hitch, and it was really early on in the game, and it was like there was a quick camera cut to a very large group of people that it like panned across, and the frame rate tanked for a second and a half, and the game was fine.
Was that Team Yell?
No, it did run.
Tell me about Team Yell. Tell me about Team Yell.
The like double horned vuvuzelas and the scarves, and yeah, I like that Team Yell. They're not necessarily bad guys. They're fans of this one Pokemon trainer, and they're just following that trainer around trying to like recruit other fans. They're just accidentally super aggressive about it. Yeah, like they sort of, when you beat them, they're sort of like, I lost control, like I lost my head, like I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to do that. And it's just like, this is really good. This game is really good. So I wanted to play more of that, but so far to me, I don't know all the minutia about Pokemon, so it feels very much like the formula, the 8 gyms, the different towns. I just got a bike, it has all this stuff.
You should be getting a fishing rod sometime.
I got that real early.
See, there you go.
Yeah. You got any HMs?
I've got so many HMs and TMs.
Not TMs, HMs.
I have gotten one HM.
There you go. So you're about on track. Yeah,
That's
about two.
That's the one time. Well, they're different now.
TM is the one-time use. HM, I believe, is the permanent use. But I don't know if that's changed.
Reverse that for this one.
Okay.
So like TMs, they're just giving you like crazy, and it's like you can learn and reuse those a lot. Monkey Senior says there are no HMs. They replaced them with one-time use moves. They seem to be like classic callback moves, but you don't have to use them to traverse the world.
Okay.
Like there's no Snorlax in the way that you have to use something to get him to wake up to move.
You just use a Pokeflute for a Snorlax, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. The HMs are things like
way more about this than I do.
Snorlax just happens to be my number one Pokemon.
There you go.
Because all he does is eats and sleeps, and you can use him as a giant futon.
How can you go wrong?
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, Sword and Shield seem really great. I'm not the most, obviously, as we just found out, I'm not the most well-versed in Pokemon, but it's...
Only the original Red and... What was it? Red and Blue.
Red and Blue,
That was the last time I played a Pokemon game.
But it's just a lot of fun, like the Pokemon games typically are. Like, I'm not going to go 100% collect everybody. Like, I'll blow through the story, I'll collect some of my favorite ones, and then I'll kind of move on. But I will have fun the whole time. But that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break.
Yep.
Sweet.
Hour and 45 minutes. Crap.
Yep. I did see there's somebody using a Master Ball on a Wooberfett, which I wanted to scream.
I saw that too. I saw someone using a Master Ball on Wooloo, the sheep you run into, like literally at the beginning of the game.
That's
really good too.
But that does bring me back to playing the original games where I literally used it on a Pokemon that I couldn't really catch, and it was just a generic Pokemon, and then you get to the legendaries and you're like, fuck.
Right, I wish I had that.
That's what it's for.
Right. I should.
I'm just going to run the bathroom.
All right. I'll sit here and chat with chat. How is everyone doing? We have like no releases this week. Let's see if this video or this list here has something better. Just a lot of... What's my team? Oh man, Score Bunny is my lead. I've been trying a lot of other Pokemon, like trying to see what I could like. I have like one of the Seagull Pokemon. This is apparently a Seagull. I just picked up a Grass type one. God, I can never remember any Pokemon names as long as this is like Pikachu or the super cute sheep.
What's the super cute sheep's name?
Wooloo.
Wooloo?
Yeah, it's really
nice.
It's really cute. I don't know. I feel like for me, I always have like my starter or like someone I find really early on in the game that I bring all the way through with me, and then the other 5 slots are kind of in flux based on the area and the gym. I almost never... I feel like I play it quote-unquote wrong, but like I never have a super diverse loadout, like a stable of Pokemon.
But really, though, you can usually get away with that with a little bit of over-leveling anyway.
Yeah.
So that's kind of always been the cool thing, is that you can have your favorite team, you just may have to work a little harder to make it work.
Right. Yeah.
Because, Snorlax became a lot cooler, and I think it was X and Y, when they added Sleep Talk to his move list.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you could put him to sleep so he could recover health, and then you use Sleep Talk, and he would randomly choose one of his attack moves to attack with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
As opposed to just being something there that fell asleep.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if Snorlax is in this new one. I'm looking at Cerebi right now to see if...
That's the thing about like the original Pokemon. Like, I don't know what it is. I always seem to make the choice where it's the worst starter Pokemon because of the original gyms that you go against.
Right.
Like, in Red and Blue, I picked Bulbasaur, and the first 3 gyms, 2 of them are one's fire and one's water. Like, okay, so I just made this really hard for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he is in Sword and Shield.
Okay.
Oh man, Gigamax Snorlax. He looks like a floating island. He has a patch of grass on his stomach and a tree with an apple on it.
Gigamax stuff is really great. Oh man. Okay, are you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Yeah.
No. Yes. Maybe.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of November 25th, 2019. It's Thanksgiving, so nothing really. Where the Water Tastes Like Wine comes out on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And the Five Nights at Freddy's trilogy comes out on the Switch.
Okay, so
that's about
Creepy Kids out possibly.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, kids really like Five Nights at Freddy's.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
A lot of younger kids really like it. The type that shouldn't be playing that game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every generation has to have something they experience and get the poop scared out of them way too early.
What was yours?
Jurassic Park.
What was mine? I don't know. E.T. was pretty scary as a kid. Like, that was weird.
Return of the Living Dead.
Candyman, I watched way too early.
I saw Jurassic Park when I was young. We were stationed in Hawaii at the time, and it was my dad and a bunch of his SEAL buddies, and they took me to the theater to go see it in the middle of a tropical storm where we lost power halfway through. And if you haven't somehow seen Jurassic Park at this point in your life, the whole reason the island goes dark and everything goes wrong is because of a tropical hurricane.
Right. And you're like, what's happening?
So watching it during a tropical storm really added that extra layer of OS.
Yeah. All right, let's hit up news stories this week. A story I had given up predicting, but a new Half-Life game got announced this week.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. It was announced. Let's move on. I don't even want to discuss it.
I want to discuss it.
Care. It's fine. Discuss away, boss.
Let's lay down the basics. Called Half-Life Alyx.
Half-Life. Are you English all of a sudden? Half-Life, mate.
Yep, governor. Set between Half-Life 1 and 2, which is the bummer of the rub, comes out March...
No, that's not the bummer of the rub. Come on.
I think that's probably the most disappointing part. I think the other part is the frustrating part. Comes out March 2020, comes free with all Valve Index headsets, compatible with all PC-based VR headsets. It's a VR-only game. That's the frustrating part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a computer that will run VR. I just don't want to. And I don't want to spend the money.
You also have nausea and
I can
vertigo issues.
I can fight through that probably.
You'd fight through that for Half-Life, is what you're saying.
No, I don't. I'm not one of those people that holds Half-Life to like. I'm not someone who thinks Half-Life is this like precious, immaculate, like on the pedestal perfect game. Like I think Half-Life 1 was a great and incredible game when it came out that aged almost immediately, and Half-Life 2 was a huge leap forward in almost all those aspects. But it's an incredibly aged game now because every other game like that has taken all those lessons and done all of that so much better in like the 25 years since Half-Life 2 came out that it's just sort of, it would be really hard to go back again.
Yeah. I mean, this is a series that I am indifferent about on a platform that I am more than indifferent about.
Sure.
So it's like,
you mean you didn't play through Half-Life 2 in the orange box on Xbox 360?
Oh, I did. I played Portal.
Yeah.
I played Half-Life. I played Half-Life 2. I played Half-Life 2
Portal's
Episode
really
1.
great.
Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Like, I played them all, but they're all just kind of okay.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind,
Oh, go ahead.
I played them on the orange box. I didn't play them on the PC when they first came out.
Right.
I was not exposed to them at the time when they were groundbreaking. I was exposed to them when, as Boston said, they were aged.
Yeah, they were okay.
Yeah, Half-Life 2 is the first game that I got achievement rage from because I carried that stupid gnome from the start of the game to the end of the game and did not get the achievement for it.
Great.
Yeah.
Or what? Yeah, you had to load him in the rocket and blast him off, right? Wasn't that what it was? Yeah.
Exactly what you had to do.
Did all that and didn't get the achievement.
Great. Yeah, so I think from a VR standpoint, it looks incredibly cool. That trailer shows you like moving stuff aside to shoot enemies and like digging through a cupboard to find ammo. Like you have to push the stuff aside. So I think from a VR standpoint, it looks really great. Index is supposed to have individual finger tracking, so there's probably really cool stuff they're going to do there. I don't want to make the investment for Half-Life Alyx.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm personally indifferent for so many other VR titles.
Yeah, there's like 3 VR titles that I have even the slightest interest in.
I'm way more interested in PSVR stuff like Moss and Astrobot and Tetris Effect, and like there's
Beat Saber.
Yeah, Beat Saber's on consoles now, so like there's a list of things that I would like to play over there, and I'm sure there's a lot of really great stuff on PC, but it's so much money. New consoles are coming out a year. I gotta save my ducats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And honestly, too, I think this is kind of like, I don't care one way or another, but I feel this is kind of a weird slap in the face for fans who have been gun-ho for Half-Life 3 for years.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, hey, we're coming out with a game. No, it's not Half-Life 3.
And it's a prequel.
They've been doing this for ages, though. They've been slapping those fans, those particular people in the face for ages. I mean, we mentioned it recently, but it's the 3rd day of the 3rd month meeting in room 3 at 3 p.m. And it's like, gee, I wonder who you're going to rile up. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting and everything, but
I hope it's good. Like, I hope it's like the VR killer app. I hope it's the thing that you buy a VR setup and you get this game. That's the thing you start with, like PSVR and Astrobot. You know, like there's this 1-to-1 correlation between the two. But
the biggest disappointment for me is a lot of this stuff has apparently been the Campo Santo team.
That has been, though the Campo Santo employees have all been saying, like, we're still working on the Valley of the Gods?
Yep, the Valley of the Gods.
Valley of the Gods at the same time, so, you know, it hasn't been shelved, we're still working on it, we're just sort of helping from a storyline perspective on Half-Life Alyx.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's removed from all of your Twitter bios and everything like that.
I don't believe Valve, because Valve hasn't put out a game, an actual original new game, I don't count Artifact, like an actual original new game since Portal 2?
Mm-hmm. And how long have they been, quote-unquote, working on Left 4 Dead 3?
Well, they canned that a long time ago.
Did we ever get an announcement that it was canned?
I think I think Left 4 Dead 2 didn't do as well as they were expecting it to. Shocker, because it came out 18 months after Left 4 Dead 1. And I think they didn't take the right lesson from that, and they're just like, well, Turtle Rock can have that back, whatever.
Left 4 Dead 2 felt more like it could have just been an add-on for 1. Like, it didn't bring anything new, which was kind of the reason why I was mad when I bought that.
Yeah. Thankfully, we got our money's worth out of it, but it was sort of like, you're really... a new one? Oh, $60? Okay. Sure.
Yeah, because it didn't stop me from playing the hell out of that game with everybody else.
But I was grumpy about it.
Yes.
Yeah. Last news story this week, Toyota is back in Forza Horizon 4. The 1998 Toyota Supra RZ is going to be included in the Forza Horizon 4 Series 17 update on December 12th. We finally got a straight answer about why this was. Toyota had only licensed their cars for Gran Turismo Sport. The original rumor, because apparently Toyota didn't want to talk about it at all, was that Toyota didn't want their cars in racing games at all because there was no sales turnover, which was insane. I also didn't know that Toyota UK had a deleted tweet saying that they licensed their stuff for GT Sport, which doesn't promote illegal street racing, which is like, yeah, but neither does Forza. They are racing on a street, but I'm not sure I would call that illegal. But they deleted that and apologized, so that was a fun little whoopsie doodle.
So the big thing for me is, when is the AE86 going to be there?
I am not a car guy. I don't know what that is.
The AE86 is the Toyota car. It's the small 1986 hatchback thing that is the white and black car featured in Initial D.
I am now...
That's the AE86.
I have pulled up the Wikipedia article, and that is like the starter car in Metropolis Street Racing, where it's like, here's your beginner Toyota. You're doing your license test in this and Gran Turismo.
if there is a video game that has drifting in, if there is a movie that has drifting in, this car is featured somewhere because it's literally the Drift King when it comes to like legendary status in the drift community. Thanks to an anime.
Well, hopefully they'll put that in so we can all finish those drift challenges.
And then what if you started getting like anime cars, like Akira's motorcycle in there?
Great.
Yeah.
Put them all in.
They have motorcycles in 4?
No, they don't.
No.
Give me anime kart. Just give me all of the vehicles from all of the different things.
The
like
Smash Brothers and anime cars.
Yeah. Sonic and anime transformed, please.
That's right. All right, let's talk about questions. T-Bomb Rocks has some questions for us in Discord. With the Final Fantasy series finally coming to Game Pass and the MMO Final Fantasy XIV also coming at some point in 2020, along with the Yakuza series, it has me thinking, what else could Microsoft do to get more Japanese third-party games on either Game Pass or Xbox? I personally want Atlas games like Persona, fighting games like Guilty Gear, etc. I feel like they're doing the thing. Like, Square Enix is putting out stuff. Like, that's a major Japanese publisher. Sega with Yakuza is now putting out stuff on Xbox and Game Pass, and same with Square Enix. I think you have to slowly build those inroads. And I think there's so much stuff like the Persona series has been a PlayStation series for so long that I think there's a lot of groundwork to do there, saying like, we will help you bring this over to our platform and we'll dump a truck of money on your front lawn to get it on Game Pass. Does all of that help getting it on Xbox? Like, how's that sound?
Well, and Sega owns Atlas as well, so if Xbox keeps
Does Sega
working.
still own Atlas?
I believe so, because that was just last year, wasn't it? Last year before.
I can never keep track.
But anyway, if
still
Microsoft just keeps helping out with Sega,
Yeah.
that could lead to other things. Like it seems like now they're building up the groundwork to get it so that they can get all kinds of different Japanese games that the Xbox hasn't really had before, which I'm a fan of.
There's also the, I wish I could remember the name of it, but there's that Korean, I think it's Korean, MMO third or first person shooter.
That new one that's like taking the world by storm.
It's been out for years in the East, but it hasn't come out over here yet. And Microsoft has dumped a truckload of money at that. It was one of the ones they showed at E3 last year.
I never remember its name.
But the most interesting thing about that is Microsoft have also threw a truckload of money at Remedy to do a campaign for it.
Yes.
So now I'm in.
Yeah.
Now I don't care. Now I will play that game. It's a Remedy campaign in an apparently really good game. So yeah, okay, I'll give that a shot and see how it goes. No season pass though. No.
Right. No, you can't do that. I feel like Microsoft, the original Xbox got such a terrible reception in Japan, and the 360 didn't get much better of a reception. And Xbox One is still struggling, but I think these are the things you have to do with these developers that, and it's not just Japanese developers, it's any developers that are hesitant to bring this stuff over to the platform. I think from their standpoint, Game Pass might be a really great solution where it's like Microsoft gives you all this guaranteed money. I'm not sure if it's upfront or if it's in installments or whatever. And then the player base is already built in. There's almost no cost for the player base. It's just, was it like 7.5 million people have Game Pass right now? So like that's your built-in base already, and they can just get your game for free.
Yeah. And not to mention how many games these days have that whole, here is a cosmetic pack, even if it's a single player game. Here is a cosmetic pack.
Every Japanese game has a billion cosmetic packs for $2.99 or $1.99 or whatever.
One of the funniest ones that people always get upset about, they're not playing the game, is Dead or Alive 6. I think it's on its 3rd season pass right now. They're
Like
$100 a piece.
Yeah.
And they come with like 40 costumes or something. And people are like, you shouldn't buy this. This is it costs more than a game. It's like, you're not the audience. Clearly. Like, the people who are going to still playing DOA 6 and they're going to buy every costume because they love the game so much, that's a steal for them. Like, it's the same thing you see with where that train game is on Steam where it has like 400 trains.
European Train Simulator.
Yeah, and it's like $5,000 for all the trains. It's like, you're not the intended audience. I can guarantee you. And also, most people aren't buying every costume and every consumable. That's crazy.
No, pick and choose.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want the item pack, sometimes you don't.
Yeah. Sometimes you want the little bird sitting on your shoulder for the cutscenes. Sometimes you don't.
Yep.
He also has our final question here. Minecraft on Switch is the first Xbox Game Studio game to reach 1 million physical sales on the Switch. I had not heard that. That's awesome. This leads me to my question. Would Minecraft be considered the most important game of this console generation? If not, what game or games would you give this nod to?
Minecraft is not the most important video game of this console generation. Minecraft is the most important console game of last generation.
I would say it's the most successful of this generation, considering that it's carried on for 2 generations now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no stopping it. I would say probably the most important or most successful game for this generation has to be Fortnite. Just from like a sales and a player base, and like just everybody knows, whether you have never played a video game or not, you know the name Fortnite and you've probably seen someone playing it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I just wish Fortnite didn't have the building. I'd play so much of that.
They have that. It has that mode. It's not the popular mode, but it has the mode where you don't do the building. It's just the original game as it was intended.
Oh, I'll have to go check that out. Yeah.
Were you the one that was telling me you were going to check it out when you were playing it a week or 2 ago?
Probably. I don't know. A week is a long time, man. Time is a flat circle. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I feel like other than like Pokemon Go is probably up there, but that's a mobile game, and I'm not sure that's in the same conversation. Just for like public knowledge of it.
Well, I guess it depends. Because was he calling specifically for this console generation? So I guess it wouldn't really. But I mean, for video games in general, I would say Pokemon Go would be a pretty good contender, just because it did get a ton of people who don't play video games walking around out in the streets trying to catch Pokemon, and you got some of the dumbest people out there on the news, mostly from Florida,
trespassing
as usual. Yeah.
Well, and I think before Fortnite came along, PUBG would have had this no problem. Like, PUBG was set to be the biggest game of this generation, and then Fortnite just leapfrogged it and sprinted and just took over.
I think PUBG could be widely regarded as one of the most influential games of the generation. Same way Modern Warfare was one of the most influential games of last generation. Might not be the most important, but definitely the most influential, because literally how many games stole that multiplayer whole progress system whole hogging, were like
prestiging, and
this is how it's done from now on.
Yep. Yeah, this is our base level expectation.
Yeah, because even Black Ops 4 Call of Duty has a battle royale in it that you can play.
That's true.
So
that's the expectation now, where it's like, oh, I can play a shooter. Does it? Where are we dropping? Like that's the
how many people fit in this plane?
Right. Yeah. All right, that's our episode this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find it and follow us on the right-hand side of the page, including the link to the merch store. Go buy some merch for Black Friday. Yeah, and go wear some of our cool stuff. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. $5 a month is the recommended one. You'll not only get the Outcasts, which is all the cool uncensored stuff we talk about before the show, and you'll get 3 months early access to Old Dog New Flicks, brand new episode this Friday. And I know some Patreon creators like delete old stuff. I don't delete any of stuff. So if you sign up now, you're gonna get like 100-something episodes. It's a pretty crazy amount of stuff for like $5.
If you're looking to block out family members for the holiday season,
That's right.
We're here for the
Yeah.
time.
Game Club is taking a break for the month. If you're a patron, we're starting a brand new game for We Rogue Like It. You can check the feed for that. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I only have 2 titles.
I got a ton.
Perfect. You can start then.
First one I have. Them's the rules, them's the breaks.
A little long, but I like it.
Airplane, landing, satellite place.
That's about the vaguest way I could describe it.
Yeah.
Gears does what Gears does. Hashtag Gears 5. You don't roll, apparently. Literal power walking. I want the Jack experience. I don't know Jack, but I want to play as Jack. Did my first corpse run. Footprint claws. And it was just the way you guys both did like the hand motion while saying it. It stops for 30 hours and then happens a whole bunch. I do not prostrate myself in front of the KP altar. So let's talk about the rest of the game. The corpse I am bringing keeps flopping around. And finally, dying. Or undying.
Undying. Ramon, what about you?
Oh, God. Okay. Well, firstly, while I've been trying to figure out what the name of that stupid game is while we've been talking, random news story I just bumped across. Everspace 2 passed its Kickstarter. Cool.
Hey, nice.
So there's another space roguelike game to add to the list, Boston.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Okay, titles. Semi-premium currency. No, please. You first. Power walk through. The Jack experience. The first corpse run. These are my OCs. Don't steal them. Like a Metroidvania game. I just bolt. And hashtag vocal minority.
I have the weeklies, 8K monster cans, literal.
I'm sorry, that sounds filthy. That
8K
sounds like
monster
an
cans?
adult movie waiting to happen.
Literal power walking, semi-premium currency, and the Jack experience. I like the Jack experience a lot. Just because it's fun to say.
Mm-hmm. I really want to play that as Jack.
I like 8K monster cans just because it's also fun to say.
I would take 8K or the Jack experience.
How is 8K monster cans not getting vetoed by you, Boston?
I'm not understanding where your filthy gutter mind is going.
Okay, clearly.
But I think
You
I would
get
vote.
it, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I do.
I think I would vote.
Which is why I'm voting for it.
I think I would vote for the Jack experience over that. I think because it sounds like a fun band name.
Mm-hmm. It's a very much a ska band of the 90s.
Yeah, or like a 70s jam band.
Oh, that's a good call too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack experience is good.
I'm gonna circle that one. All right, let me know when you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
I'm pulling a literal blank right now. I just realized I was supposed to be thinking of a title.
Well, I also have played the game that's associated with this, so I can very easily make a reference.
You just make robot noises.
Well, I was gonna say the whole thing that got me on my update screw job for this was because I was trying to download the Windows beta so that I could, because I got Game Pass as well for free, the PC for 3 months.
Right.
So I was trying to update it to Windows 1909 so I could play Gears of War 5 so I could have something to talk about. There's my intro right there. Just throw all that after whatever Moon says.
Okay.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 631 for November 25th, 2019. The Jack Experience.
I want to rip it real good.
Beep boop.
Rip it real good. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.